All right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we are starting another night of budget listening sessions. And 4 o'clock, we have EMS, Leonard Hawes. Step right up.
How are you all today? Any particular questions? I assume you have the budget request that we sent in.
Is it the one from May 29th for $1,137,711.45 total?
That seems awful high.
That's what I thought.
There's a email.
That's the email that I had from May 29th.
I
Yep, that's the one you
have
sent.
632,410.
And then 500,000 for an ambulance and 5,000
Oh,
for a
including the capital? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
The cap, I thought we were, the capital.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, it is. I just meant
Okay.
total. So 632,410 for your operating loss.
Correct. And then the capital was for the purchase of a new ambulance.
And that was a $500,000 request. And then there was a hand Tevi.
That's a software application we use for protocols and med administration and things that was part of the AARP grant funding that we purchased. It's been 3 years ago now, 2 years, however long it's been, our annual subscription for that.
Okay. Earlier this year, there was a contract that was sent out. Of course, it wasn't, I don't think anything ever got done with it, but it was a $200,000 per year for services necessary to keep 2 active trucks available for EMS 24/7, 365, to be paid monthly on the 20th of the month. Is this, what caused the big swing?
I was told the contract was never received back from the county, so they assumed it was null. So we put in our budget that we thought we needed to offset our loss for the year.
Okay, and did this request, was this like a board approval, a Perry County Memorial Hospital Board of Trustees approval? Did they approve this budget that you're asking for, or did they see this?
That I'm not aware of if they have or not. I assume probably not because the hospital don't do our individual department budgets till we just started them
Mhm.
for the next year. So EMS is the only one that starts so early, so I don't think it goes through the board.
Okay, because I was just curious about this, they had offered this contract for 200,000 and then now it's 1.1 million, so
Right.
quite a difference. I just think there needs to be some communication about that.
I agree, 100%.
Does anybody have any questions for Leonard?
The 632 is just what we need to operate 4 ambulances, keep them maintained, stocked, equipped, and 2 crews 24/7, 365.
So 4 ambulances stocked and equipped is your operating? You don't have that in your capital? Your other 2 ambulances that are like your backups?
I don't understand the question.
So you have 2 ambulances that are on load at all times and 2 that are sitting in case you need them.
Correct.
So,
We still have to have them stocked with all the equipment and things.
right,
So that,
we just got all that equipment for them. Is there something in particular that you need?
well, that includes all the soft goods and things, the usable supplies that we use every day from patient to patient. We still have to have 4 ambulances ready to go. When one goes out of service, we have to have another one ready to come into service. When I say equipment, I'm not like capital,
Yeah.
like the stretcher, the big stuff.
Yeah.
We're good on there. That's all the other little things, drugs, the medications, soft goods, all the little items that aren't included in your capital expenses.
Are these numbers based on last year's costs, or are they figures that are estimated with a inflationary add-on?
I know we since it's so early in the year, we only are able to annualize based on the first quarter of 2026. So we use a lot of the 25 data from the complete year and kind of put them together to make the 27 budget. And then I do know there is a 3% on the revenue and some charges to help with inflation and cost of living and things.
3% and some charges. I'm sorry, help me out.
Like on our revenues, there are charges that we bill the patient. Every year it goes up a little bit, just like cost of living and all the other things. That's the 3% goes up.
And what's ambulance charity? $10,000.
The hospital has a charity program for people that are financially, that are struggling financially, that if they meet certain requirements, they help with the bills, and sometimes as much as just write it off.
And service agreements for $87,000.
The service agreements includes kind of a whole bunch of different things. One is our agreements for our reporting software, our billing company, anybody that we have an annual subscription with or an annual contract with that we pay falls into that same category.
And then what's other direct expense? $15,900.
That's what the hospital charges to manage the service. That's if you look at the P&Ls monthly, that's the $13.25 a month that the hospital charges for administrative fees for all the things.
I think there's probably gonna have to be a conversation with the hospital board.
This employee benefits, how many employees is that for?
All of EMS, right now we have 22 EMS staff.
Do you have a breakdown on how many EMTs versus paramedics you have? Or
Full-time or part-time?
EMS?
Counting myself, we have 7 full-time paramedics and 6 full-time EMTs. And currently we have 1 PRN advanced EMT, 3 EMTs PRN, and 3 PRN paramedics.
Is that about normal? Is that what you need for 2?
Yeah, right. We are fully staffed.
Okay.
Shh, don't say that. Do that.
You said it.
I
You said 3 EMT part-timers and then 3, what was the last part on this?
They're all the, other than the full-time EMS is all PRN or as needed to help fill the schedule. If I said part-time, I apologize.
Hey Leonard, do you have this with you? Can you tell me what this ambulance CA RBD?
Contractual allowances, the first one there, the CA contractual allowances. So when we bill the insurance, even
What
though we
they'll
bill them bill them $100, but they're only going to allow us $40.
Yeah.
Whatever the contract is. And
When we get our
that's,
EOBs or whatever, they say that.
right.
What's the next thing, the RBD?
Bad debt. So that is what patients don't pay that are sent to collections and we have yet to collect on.
So can charity be like write-offs? Is that what? Or where do write-offs fall? Is it in the bad debt or is it in the
Yes.
charity?
Being
The
bad
write-offs would be in the bad debt.
Okay.
So once it goes to collections, it's wrote off. And then if the collection agency is able to receive any payments on that account, then it comes off of bad debt or out of the bad debt. That's why occasionally you'll see a month or two that has a positive month for the bad debt. Not very often, but occasionally.
And we pay quite a bit for that service, right? I mean, that billing or that collection service, or they only get
It's
paid
a
if
percentage fee that they
Okay, so
charge
only
based
if-
on what they collect.
there's
And
no,
off the top of my head, I'm not sure what it is.
so there's no regular, just here's our standard fee that we're gonna charge to go after this, and then we're gonna get something.
They get, that's the same collection agency the entire hospital uses.
Okay.
And it's the same, as far as I know, the same percentage for all the departments, regardless of EMS or inpatient or ER. And their fees fall under that, you asked about the service
Contracts?
contract, that's part of their fees.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for
What is
Linda?
is that miscellaneous insurance or what is that?
Insurance, miscellaneous insurance, yes, that just includes all the insurance. So insurance for the ambulances, professional liability insurance.
Okay.
Medical director has insurance. They're all lumped together on one line.
Okay, it's just really not miscellaneous.
Well,
It's just-
right, it's just, yeah.
A grouping of all your insurance.
I think when it's broke out in like individual lines, it actually shows auto insurance,
Right.
liability insurance, medical director, and miscellaneous just.
Do you have a file like that where we can see that?
I don't with me.
Can you email it to us?
I would have to ask Megan for it. I don't think she has all the details. I have limited, I would say limited, but I don't have as many details as she does. But I have more than what's on your list here, but we should be able to send something like that.
That would be helpful. Each one of these could have, whatever the subcategory underneath it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, I'm curious on that insurance though, is if the county could by chance get a better rate, if they were to be the keeper of the policy since they're the owners of the vehicles. That's my question.
We can find out.
Actually,
And then also the fuel line on here, EMS used to get a dispatch bill, and they'd send the bill to the county, and then the county would pay the bill. Why can't fuel just go to the county? And fall under the county contract for county vehicles?
I don't know what your contract is. Do you have some kind of special contract where you go to Marathon or somewhere and get a better price?
They've got a CNS.
We go to CNS here in town. What the actual contract is, I don't know. I do know we have an agreement that, and then once a month they send the invoice. But what the terms are, I know obviously being a hospital, we don't pay tax on the fuel we use.
Yeah.
Whether we get a bigger discount than that, I'm not sure.
Just
you get a little discount at what's at the pump. It's less than what's at the pump.
5 cents off the contracts.
That's what we get?
Mhm.
I'm sure they could probably do the same, I'm assuming.
I would have to ask about that.
I'm sure they're getting the same.
Okay. Anyone else? And the 500,000 is to buy a new ambulance? Is that, or is there something else you were wanting there?
Well, we just threw that in there knowing that we have 2 good ambulances and we have 3 that are okay. Each.
Well, we started putting back money.
Right. So, maybe if you're not able to this year, it definitely needs to happen soon. I know
It takes a while too.
at one of the previous commissioners meeting, there was a discussion about repowering one of the old trucks, new transmission, new engine, new because the box and frame are decent shape. Putting new engine, transmission and things in it to get it back in order. That kind of fell off when the contract negotiations fell off as well.
We'll check in with them on that.
when you say an ambulance would be nice, I assume you're gonna take everything from one and move it to a new one, or this is for everything?
No,
Not everything.
we would not need a new cot or the other, we have 4 good stretchers, we have 4 good cardiac monitors. They would just go from the old vehicle to the new vehicle. The equipment in the truck where the stretcher would attach would have to be part of the new truck. But both of them, the last two that was purchased for, I'm sure had to be, itemized in there, but it was come with the truck.
And the last two have been, the boxes have been redone. Are those
Those
going
are
okay?
the blue ones, yeah.
Right, are those okay?
Yeah, just like any new vehicle, there's always issues with them. We have one of them right now has been out for a couple of weeks with some electronic issues. We think they narrowed it down to a software issue from Ford.
Did we contact the person that we bought it from, to see if we have a warranty or?
That one's been out of warranty. They're 1 year warranty from that manufacturer. And even the second truck that was purchased, it sat at the armory for 6 months, so the warranty still expired after a year, even though it wasn't used. This previous, I'd have to look at the dates, but it's been a while.
So which one is it that has those issues? The first
The
one?
first blue.
Okay.
Explanation, mileage and auto maintenance, what, that's not clear to me.
Maintenance on the ambulances, anything related to maintaining oil changes, wiper blades, tires.
Based on mileage is why the mileage word is there.
Honestly, I don't know what mileage there.
Yeah, it's just, no, I mean, auto
No,
maintenance,
we
I
don't
understand.
charge per mile.
I was gonna say, where does that come in? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's all
Maintenance.
maintenance related, because we have a separate fuel line. Right?
Yes.
All right, anything else?
You'll ever consider the smaller ambulances for backups? I've never seen the inside one, I'm just curious.
It's about the size of that chair you're sitting in.
Those little fans?
Yeah.
I don't think
Is that what
they fare
AMR
well.
seen them
Some
here.
of them are, yes. Yeah, they are nice for in the city where the streets are narrower and easier to get into.
Mhm.
I don't know how well they would hold up in the more, I don't want to say extreme environments, but rural area. And those are, most of those are usually only capable with one patient, whereas the bigger ones we have capabilities of 2, sometimes 3 patients, depends on the severity of injuries, where we could easily transport multiple patients since we only have minimal ambulances to.
What do you do if you only have one cot? How do you get 2 or
There's a
3 in
bench
there?
seat on one side, we can lay someone down on the backboard if we need to, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats in the back of one of them. We could put the whole family in if we need to. And there's been times in like a vehicle wreck where, mom or dad or caregiver's injured, but kids are okay, but can't just leave the kids.
Yeah.
So they get to ride along.
All right. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next is Molly Hagman with the Animal Shelter. And I think we had a letter here from, just put it on our table. Did you print them?
I made you another copy,
Well, thank you.
along with a copy of the budget.
Well, that's helpful. We needed that.
And I also made a copy of last year's budget, so you all can look and compare where I made some cuts. And so my name's Molly Hagman. I'm with Rivers Edge Animal Shelter. And we are here this evening requesting a $60,000 appropriation from the county for the year 2027. We did not ask for an increase from last year because we understand that times are tough. And the animal shelter doesn't want to stress the county out any more than it already is. We appreciate the $60,000 that was appropriated this current year for the shelter. And due to the hard times, that's why I'm not asking for an increase. And if you go back and review the budgets, you can see where I have made some cuts and am very willing to go back and make more cuts to get that number more in line. But with the fundraising and the grants that we do every year, we hope that that brings that out of the negative and into the positive. So that's where I hope to make up that difference.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Molly? I appreciate you putting that on there. 26, 27. It's easier to look at like that.
Mhm. Yes.
I mean, I could dig it up and
Well,
find it, but it's
Well,
just
it's just
easier when it's
easier
right
when
there.
when you can look at both sheets and see what I was in 26. You know, I was looking at a negative 32,000, which was, you know, that was a hefty number to take on to come out of, you know, the hole. And looking into going to next year, which is still a big number, I'm not, but I'm right at 15,000. I'm open to.
And I see you'll be asking Tell City and Hamilton for portions that they're already paying now. Is that what that is?
Tell City, I am not asking for an increase as well. I didn't feel like it would be fair to ask them for an increase and not you all. So I am asking Cannleton for an increase. In the past, Cannleton has paid $5,000. So I am asking Cannleton for more. Cannleton uses a lot of resources from the shelter. We get a lot of calls from Cannleton. We help a lot of residents in Cannleton, and we've had several hoarding cases. We've taken in several litters of puppies, and that's a huge expense to the shelter when you take in multiple litters of puppies, because every one of those puppies has to be vetted, spayed and neutered, vaccinated, and that's an expense to us. So that's the reason for my increase in Hamilton.
So are they paying 5,000 right now?
Yes, that's what they have paid up to they paid $5,000 a year.
What you do with your employees?
Pardon me?
Your employees, they're all less.
Pardon me?
The wages are all less. What did you do?
I corrected it because I corrected it, David, because I got tired of you questioning me about it every year because I was wrong. So I corrected it.
Like the first one is 3,200
Okay.
less.
Pardon me?
The first one is 3,200 less than last year. So what was that correction?
The first one was $3,200 less.
The fir-
Three-
Because
3,200.
we're not on a bi-weekly pay period. I'm on now, this year, we went to a 2-time, a 15th and a 30th pay. So instead of taking your pay times 26,
So you're saying you're only being paid twice a month?
correct. Because in budgeting, when you're budgeting for a bi-weekly payroll, and there's 3 months out of the year that you have 3 pay periods.
Mm-hmm.
So that following month, I was getting killed in my payroll taxes. I was also getting killed the month prior because I had 3 pay periods. Budgeted for 2 pay periods a month. Whether it's bi-weekly or not, you still have several months.
No.
Yeah, you do have several months where you have 3 pay periods. Are you telling me that you don't?
Everyone has the 3 pay periods. All departments do.
Correct.
Yours would be no different. So why, I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying.
So if you don't understand, then call Marsh Terry. Because Marsh Terry is the one that does my payroll. Marsh Terry is the one that signed off on this. Because you questioning this has stirred up a whole thing.
It has nothing to do with,
No, it has.
no.
Because it has stirred up a whole thing, because people now are accusing me of stealing. Because of this conversation.
No, all I question
No.
was the payroll taxes is all I
I'm
question.
telling you what has happened because of this.
I,
Well, I understand that you don't, but I'm telling you. So this is why I have went to my CPA. And if you have questions about that,
but you
then
shouldn't have to
call-
reduce your
You
wages.
should call Marsh Terry.
It doesn't matter if you're 24 pays or 26 pays, it doesn't matter. You still would be,
Then do
The
the
same.
math. Do
the salary would be the same.
Do the math.
Her more concern is the monthly expenses. It was hitting her too hard each month. She's not looking at the annual. She doesn't really know what revenue she's going to have each month other than the set from she gets from the city and the county. And with the unprediction of medical vet bills and all that. So this is the first I'm hearing of 24, but obviously Marsh Terry has advised her that that would help her more on a monthly budget. Do you see what she's saying? On the 2 times that you get hit with 3 pays, you're paying more in property taxes, you're paying more in, or not more in property, more in payroll taxes, and you're paying more in wages in 1 month if you have 3 pays in a month. Those are the months that she struggled. So it's not looking at it as an annual thing, she's looking at it more on a month to month. So now she's, from what I'm listening, she's going to a 24 instead of a 26.
But you would,
So they're gonna make more on.
because you reduced the
because-
wages.
if
You
she-
reduced the wages.
Are you reducing it?
Yes, the wages are reduced by 3,200 for the year.
It's my wages.
Aren't they all reduced?
It's my
Aren't the other
wages.
2 reduced too?
It's my wages that are reduced.
But aren't the other 2 employees reduced also? It looks like they're all reduced.
Because it's a 24 instead of 26.
But what I'm saying, if you're paid 30,000, it doesn't matter where you pay on the 24 pays or 26, you still should be making the same at the end of the year.
They're hourly, so there's no guarantee of how many hours they're gonna work. They're not salaried. So she's guesstimating there. They're
Okay.
hourly. And I can vouch.
So
that Molly
it sounds
does not
like you need to
take
talk to Marsh Terry.
Probably.
That's who you need to talk to.
And I can forward you the emails too of how many times Molly doesn't pay herself a month because she doesn't have the money, but she makes sure her employees are paid and not paying herself.
And she shouldn't be doing that either.
If she doesn't have the money, what's she gonna do? I mean, she's taking care of her employees.
I mean, you
Well,
shouldn't do
then
that.
you all need to fund it more. Then let me ask for more money.
Maybe you should.
I mean, from what I hear, you're gonna have a hard time paying the 60.
I mean, you've actually reduced your wages, is what you've done. I mean,
I have to reduce
or you
everything, David.
reduced your budget in your wages. And you reduced some of these others also.
I have to reduce everything. I'm still looking 15,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
And yet I still have people accusing me of stealing.
Well,
And this is why.
that should not be why.
Well, I'm telling you, it is.
I don't know why, questioning.
Well,
All I ever,
talk to
all I ever-
Perry County residents.
all I ever questioned was why the payroll taxes that the employees paid were included as an expense, because they're not expense. That's the only thing I ever said.
And my response to that was,
Because it wasn't.
just like I explained it to my CPA, and I'm gonna explain it to everybody here. I understand that the employee pays for that. That is withheld from the employee.
Right,
But at the same time, I have to have that in my bank account to pay it, okay? So that's why I reflected that in my budget, because in my head, I had to reflect that because it still had to come out of my bank account.
right. It's,
Whether they earned it and it's being withheld, it still comes out of my operating bank account.
that's true.
So if I don't have that money, well, then I'm going to jail because I'm not paying payroll taxes.
It would come out of your cash.
She just put her gross wages.
I'm putting
and she put her
everything
net
in
wages.
an operating account,
You know exactly
in
what
one
it's-
operating account. So I don't have a payroll account where just my payroll comes out and their withholding is withheld and then that gets taxed. I'm operating on one operating account. So that's why in my head, I felt like I needed to show you that on my budget. But going through it with Marsh Terry, she was like, no, you don't need to show them that because the employee has earned that. That's the employee is withholding. You are matching it.
Right.
And I said, okay, I understand that, but I just felt like in my head, because it's coming out of my bank account, the working business bank account, I needed to show that. And that's why the percentage was higher and you were questioning it. So I corrected it.
It wasn't a percentage, it was an expense. That's why I was questioning why that
So
would be an
that's
expense.
what the difference was. In my head, I felt like I needed to show it because it was coming out of my working account. I'm just trying to show everything. And my CPA is advising me, no, you don't have to do it that way because that's a withholding.
Any other questions for Ms. Molly? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Jones. We're just a little behind, sorry. Okay, you didn't send any papers or anything, right? Okay. No, I just want to make sure I have,
No, you haven't done.
okay.
I'm gonna make a suggestion, just go with what I got and make it easier.
Is that what it is? All right, what page are we going to here?
Boom.
You're number one.
Yes,
All right. I'm ready.
okay. The only increase I'm asking is on wages, especially for the head deputy and the second deputy. As you well know, those ladies have been through hell and back the last couple of years. And they deserve something, whether an increase, a stipend, something. They truly deserve it. And that's really the only increase I'm asking for. Still including another second deputy full-time, hopefully after the first of the year, and half of that being paid out of our perpetuation fund. A lot of the things stayed the same. I did increase postage just because postage has increased. And I think we're gonna run real close on that this year anyway.
I think you have had to have a little bit more for supplies this year, but that, the
Yeah,
one coming
but-
up is a one-time thing though, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
The one for tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering about that.
I'm not gonna make any promises, but that's my hope.
You can just write that down, we could.
Oh, okay, sure.
Anybody have any questions for Ms. Jones?
Pretty simple.
No?
You wanna do the election board?
Yeah, let's see what they for are. Where's the for? Sorry, where's it at? I found it yet.
13,
Skipped right over it. It says CO. I was looking for the E's. All right, page 13.
Next year should be less because there's, well, we may have a primary, we may not. This is just municipal elections next year. But I did cut back because I don't feel like it's, regardless if we have a primary or not, we're not going to need as many workers because it'll just be in the cities. So I have cut back quite a bit. Now, one thing I want to mention, and I have sent the information to the commissioners and not heard anything back, but I did come to you all, it actually was in 25, that it's coming down the pike that we're going to have new voting machines soon. And it could be next year. And, you know, they're willing to come down and talk to you again, but it's gonna happen. And
Is it in legislation this year or something? Is that what you're saying? They're gonna make it
they
where you have
only
to?
will make them, yeah, they only, I don't know if certify is the right word, but for so many years. And then they.
So when is
require-
our expiration date for ours?
I believe it's 27. I think we can still make it through next year.
Okay.
But you have to order them in advance. Right now, it's a 36-week lead time, which is ridiculous, but that's what it is.
How much are those machines? Have you heard anything or not?
We're probably talking around 150,000. I mean, it's a
How many years are they good for?
I'm not sure what the new model is. The old ones, I think they've had for like 8 years. Next year will be 8 years. So they don't last forever.
Oh, the days of paper ballots.
Oh, no, please.
The ones you have were all bought at the same time.
Yes.
What happens to those?
How much?
Can you trade them in or what? What happens to them?
I
Are they
don't
useless or you
know.
get like a value out of them to trade them in? You
Don't
refurbish
know.
them?
That's never been talked about.
I was just
I
curious.
have- Yeah, I'll ask that question.
Sometimes our EMS equipment, we can trade it in
Yeah.
and get money back, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know what use they are to us. Yeah,
Mhm. They're not good for us, who are they good for?
any other questions about this one? No?
Systems.
And then we have the clerk's perpetuation thing.
Have to find it. There it is, yep. All right, page 28.
It's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of expenses and such. We are planning to take another half of clerk's pay out of that. That's the big chunk. I did up the computer equipment budget just because I know our scanners are getting old and some of our computers are as well. And last year we had to buy a refurbished monitor. I look for more of that to happen, so I did increase computer equipment. Now that, like the budget of, I've requested 24,000, we will take in close to that amount. Probably not 24,000, more like 20,000. The fees that people pay for different things, but it won't completely cover it. But we have sufficient funds right now.
Okay, you might have any questions about that one? No?
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. We're gonna need it. Mindy, Assessor's Office? I'll start on page 8.
Yes. And I'm Sarah Hart, by the way. I'm the first deputy in the assessor's office, so I'll be presenting this to you guys. On page 8, as you can see, we requested an 8% raise for all the staff. Just because, you know, it's been a few years since we've had one, and us as county workers, I feel like deserve that raise. And then the second deputy, it was in the reassessment fund, which we moved over to last year during budget sessions. We absorbed that over into the reassessment to then relieve the general fund, but we moved it back. But at the same time, we also absorbed the XOF maintenance in reassessment. So the cum cap would be, it was over. So we, Chris mentioned it to us. So we absorbed it into the reassessment fund. So it was kind of a wash. If that makes sense. But we also added longevity, just to touch base on that personally. I've been there 18 years, and you know, if somebody came in and they got hired on as a first deputy, they're making the exact same as I have, even though I've been here 18 years. So I just feel like just giving somebody that's been here in their time that long, they should be rewarded in some way, shape, or form to stay. We did increase travel a little bit because we maxed out on that. And we also, at the beginning of the year, will have to get a new employee, and she or he will have to do some training, which is required by the state for our office. So there's going to be a lot of traveling and education going on there. So that's pretty much it on page 8. Anybody has any questions before we move on? Page 26 is our reassessment fund, and like I said before, we are relieving the cum cap and paying for our XOF maintenance out of the reassessment fund. So the $31,000 we added to this, but that's all the same otherwise, besides the deputy that we moved back to general. And that is pretty much it. We do have the self-disclosure fund, but that's all the exact same.
Let me see where that is.
Oh, that's page 30.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So it didn't change at all?
No, it's the exact same. That is it. I do have a little summary though with our office to let you all know, because there's a little bit of history there. In 2008, there used to be township assessors. There was 15.
Dale, weren't you one of, were your township assessor?
No, that was after me.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Before.
We used to have 15 township assessors, and in 2008, they removed all of those, and we absorbed it as our office, and they only added one full-time person. Since then, to get security, whenever all of that went down, we needed money for security. We went from 4 full-time to 3 full in 1 part in 2017. And then in 2023, we went from 3 full in 1 part to 3. So we're running bare minimum. So I feel like, if anything, you know, with all of the extra absorption of the job duties, that the staff does deserve that raise that we're requesting.
Do I have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, we're a little late.
Oh, it's okay. Not too bad.
Okay, next up is David, County Surveyor.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Page 6, I guess. We'll start with survey, is that right? Surveyor budget.
I believe so, yes. I got some handouts, but I only got 5, I'm sorry, I just want to show you some stuff. It's been a couple years since I've been here again.
Thank you.
So, just kind of show you what I've been up to. You guys share a couple.
We will.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all. I'm so thankful for being county surveyor. I'd like to thank you all for that. I'd like to give a shout out to Chris. I work with her in auditor's office. She does a really good job. In the recorder's office, I work with them all the time. I think a couple of years ago, I asked for $15,000 to some extra labor to do section corner, some ties. And if you see on it, that I just, that little sheets I just showed you right there, I've been working on that pretty hard here lately. Actually been with, got in contact with N. Allen, was it Anjun, how do you say his name?
Yep.
And so he basically got my page going, and I got basically what I've been doing is been doing some ties, and did 60 of them this year. And you can kind of see on that third sheet what the example are starting to look like. And so a lot of information on that sheet there. And so I ended up doing 60 of them last year, and for that, and get kind of everything set up. And this year I plan on doing a lot more. I know my revenue, looks like I'll bring in about 14,000 a year. And I think there's a pretty big bunch in the kitty there with the county surveyor. And so I'm hoping possibly to use 25,000 this year to do a lot more of them and to kind of get more caught up. And that's just my thoughts. And basically what I've been doing is those tie cards. I got a Google Drive, and so I just you could get on the Perry County website, and I started on the north and went down, and I did 60 of them, and so I just continued going down, and hopefully I'm hoping to get 150, 200, 100 of them done this year possibly, and so.
Is this something we can see on GIS, or is that what?
Well, actually, what that is, that is on GIS. However, that's on the Perry County. That's not on the public server.
Oh, okay.
That's think GIS. That's the county. That's where I got all my section corners in there. And so what I did, that's just a snip of that area there, and then put in all that information of the tie corner where that is.
So you just turn on a layer or something? I mean, the public can see it or not?
No, the public can't see it. Actually, the public can't see it. There's a couple reasons I want them to contact me. There's some of them that are located, some are digitized.
Okay.
And right now, the offices, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, it kind of goes hot and cold, but most the people that contact me for information are like survey crews that work for bridge or road projects, and because they got to have section corners, And so they contact me a lot, and then I'll just send them information that I have. And, but yeah, that good question, Kelly. I guess the thing is, the part of me wants, there's a lot of stuff that's digitized that are not correct.
Okay.
And so that's one of the main reasons I really don't, that's why I'm trying to do these tie sheet cards to get them out there. I put my name on it, and I actually got a state plane corded to it. And I'm hoping to get, we got a ton of corners. I'm so thankful and blessed, but we actually, if you see that second sheet there, if you see that, that's kind of how.
Show me what I'm looking at.
Okay, so what you're looking at right here.
It looks foreign to me.
So basically, what we got this is 3-2. This is up here by northern Perry County, the very northern part, and that's why I kind of started north and going south. Yeah, just going north-south. I ain't Matt Telsey or anything. I just go north-south. So thought that'd be a way to do it. And so what you got is you got these lines. You got up there. You got these lines that the old county surveyors had, and actually they're scribed on the stones too. You got, so like the J4, J6, J8, J10, J12, them are the corners that, they're the main corners that we're supposed to have ties to. And there's the main section corners in, the N4. And so what I end up doing is the ones that I had up here and stuff up here, I just went ahead and generated a tie sheet. So this is this is the V18 corner, and if you look at it, it's up here by it's in the center of the screenshot here. And these are all PDFs. So whenever you get on the website and you go in there and you get in these, there's a bunch of Anjan, he made a bunch of, basically they're links to the Google Drive. And so you could go to that and you could just click it, and you guys could do it whenever you want to. And then it'll pull up all these PDFs. There's a bunch of PDFs. And then it'll reference this corner. And so that's
But those are all accurate.
yeah, these are accurate coordinates. Yeah, this is the coordinate that I've surveyed. And the reason I said located is because I personally, as a private surveyor, has been there, got the coordinate. And so that's it's like my private information, but I'm putting it and giving to the county and all that stuff. And I use Cash Wagner feedback. Anytime they get surveys in, a lot of times I'll rotate their stuff. And I actually help Chris a lot. And I put it in our GIS, especially if you get something that's kind of hard to do. And then they'll trace over the surveys. So we're cleaning up GIS slowly. And so, but we work really well, good together, and we're just trying to knock it out a little bit at a time. And that's why, so that's what this is. And so there's, so, but I don't
So
know if
these
that-
are just sections at a time that you're in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to get every corner of this, and you'll see just the ones I've been to. And then so what I meant is just generate a sheet, and then I pull, because that sheet, what it tells you is a lot of stuff. It tells you the surveys that reference that points, it says what it is, it's a stone carcinite post. And it also gives you historical data about McKim was, in 1879, and so we got a ton of data, and I just want to get it out to the public in a way where it's accessible. And so that's why I was going to put it in the Google Drives. And if something happens to me, the county will have those PDFs. I'll transfer to, so I'm hoping to get a bunch of them. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the terminology of a tie, is this
It's basically, it references a corner, a section corner.
it's just a reference to an existing cornerstone or
Cornerstone, yes.
or
yes.
some sort of a survey.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, and I came to the county a couple of years ago, and I called around, and so I called around Matt Cooper. He's kind of like me. He's a licensed surveyor. He's in Orange County, but I asked I asked him several things. They don't have a tie program. And I just kind of asked him his salary. So I don't want a rate. I'm so thankful to be County Surveyor. I'm private. I'm thankful for what I'm doing here and be able to do what we're doing. But they do like corners for like $1,000 a piece. That's what he has done them for. And then I actually called Spencer County Surveyor's office, and Cash Wagner's been doing theirs for. They do like 5%, and this was a couple years ago, and they spend like $30,000, and they only do 30 corners. And but they take pictures of the corners also, and they have a reference measurements to it. And so this is a more simple one pager, and it's a lot. I think it's sufficient enough for us to get us going, and like I said, I try to.
You can get a lot more done.
Yeah, get a lot more done, and I don't, I'm thankful with the section corner. You guys go look at it. The website's live, and you guys, the Perry County, and that's those ties. You won't see anything on. I think 32334142. You'll see where that but then I kind of ran out of time and everything, and my budget for my first, and I spent $15,000 this last year for that. But I'm hoping to bump it up to get more done. But I don't see this being in the foreseeable future, a bunch of years, maybe one more year, but I want to get kind of get a lot of it knocked out. So if you see these ties right here, it shows a lot of, and like the PDF, you'll see a lot of corners with that. Like I said, there's a lot of 16th and everything. I'm hoping to get, maybe 200 this next year, then maybe another 200. Then I think I count like over 400, and just a little bit more than 400 to kind of get us kind of caught up until we could breathe and kind of get. Then I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I just want to get a bunch of these so people could see it's accessible and have PDFs.
And if there's a section where you missed one, but then you come across it later or someone else does, you can just update it?
Yeah.
It'll automatically update?
Well, see, that's what, this is date created right here.
Yeah.
So basically I got a date created, and so I'll be able to, and this is a thing where, I'm planning on going north to south, and then there'll be places where I'm not completing a township. I'm just
Right.
I'm kind of going through with a lot of my data that I already have, and then but it's stuff that I've personally been to. There's a lot of corners that I haven't personally been to, but I've been to a couple here, and then I could rotate maybe a feedback survey or a Cash Wagner survey, and I know within like a foot or so where that point is, but I haven't really certified it or put a coordinate because I just haven't been there. But that's my thought this next year. If you think I'm too aggressive with what I'm wanting to do, I do not think I'm going to be. We just bought, thankful with Chris, we got more Carson Post purchased this year, and I probably won't get no Carson Post no more this next year. Should last a couple years. That's my thought, and I know I got a training, travel education. I got some in there too. I'm a private surveyor as well, so I really don't want to turn that stuff in. Just because of, I'm thankful for what I'm doing, and thankful to be County Surveyor, and I just want to help and try to keep other expenses low. But I'm spending money here, so I want to get something, I'm trying to get something in those, those PDFs and get something generated so that the county sees that we got some corners.
Yeah, I mean, this will end up being beneficial to the residents who have to do surveys in the future, so
For years to come.
it'll just cut their costs down.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good thing.
Then the county has something. See, right now, the county we got the recorded surveys, recorder's office, but these reference cards are going to be something that the county could have as the county. The county surveyor never really had anything like this before, other than Dad had yellow dots on the thing where he's been there. You know, he put a little dot, he had a stone, he put a little dot there. This is coordinate, this has got a little snip of the GIS and yeah, if you give them the PDF of it, you can zoom in. I know that prints out pretty there, but you could zoom in PDF and there's a lot of detail there off the GIS. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
my
it's a good
thoughts.
thing.
So
Does anybody have any questions for David?
David, between you and your dad, how many corners?
I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. It's probably getting 6,000 or 7,000. I don't know. It's a bunch.
It's
I
gotta
mean,
be-
there's a ton. You go, and there's a lot of places in Moban Ridge. There's a very few handful. I know there's some corners that, but like Moban Ridge, where government owns everything around there, there's a bunch of areas that if you pull up the GI, well, you guys can. But if anybody even needs information, ask me. I normally send that stuff to surveyors and stuff. I share my information with surveyors. It's kind of, I don't know how to say it, but for the general public, I like to at least explain to what I'm showing them to them. And that's what I'm trying to do, if you understand that.
And I know over the last year, I've had to ask you a couple questions about county highway easements or this or that. And I do appreciate you getting right back with me and looking at it and telling me who owns what or where. And when residents have questions about county easements or things, so.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is Miss Amanda from the Health Department. Hi.
Yeah, I'm thankful to be here and thankful for all the help I've received also.
We're going to go on page 24. Is that where you're starting?
Page 24. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I've just asked, we would be thankful for a raise for the existing employees for the health department.
Okay. Now, your Health First budget, do you have that? Is that ready or is that, have you guys got that all together?
Yeah, it's gonna be the same as 2026. We're getting
Okay.
the same amount of money in.
Oh, you know that for sure,
2027.
you're getting, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they had decided that yet or not.
When we got that submitted, the HFI.
We've submitted it, but they said we can make any changes.
Through like October 1st or something, somewhere like that.
I think they talk like even to the end of the year.
Oh. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Easy enough.
Okay. All right,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is EMA, Grace Lenny. See, we were behind and we got a little bit, we caught up, so it just worked out.
All right, good evening, everyone. Being new and kind of getting the feel of the way the budget has went or is going this year, I haven't really asked for any changes in anything. Under the civil defense, page 19.
Okay.
I did put in just for a small 5% raise if there is anything, which we don't totally understand. Type, but all the other line items I kept the same. I do know there's going to be probably some we're going to have some excess in this year due to I've eliminated a couple of Wi-Fi devices that weren't being used and a few other things I'm looking at where it could be maybe moved around. There is one, I think it's on this. Okay, yeah. E-dispatch, it's 31,108. I did get a bill early on and it pretty much wiped that $440 out. Well, just come to find out that was only for 6 months for that service. Their price has over doubled in the last 3 years. We've added, I think there's up to 350 recipients in that e-dispatch system. That's why it's went up. I've tried to eliminate some of those. Hopefully we can get that price down, and we have to look at other options with that. I know it's a very well-used system, but yet we do have Pulse Point now, and we have, obviously radio. So I kept that one the same, not knowing that was only 6 months. So for this second 6 months of this year, we did have money in 911 to cover that. So next year, I'd like to negotiate with them and see what we can do with that. And that's the only thing that I saw that kind of hit me out of left field in that budget after we.
What was the 6 month bill? 31.
They budgeted 4,440, and I'm thinking it was like 4,420 something. So it pretty much wiped it out just for the 6 months. And like I said, it jumped. It jumped big time in late 24, like the second half of 24. Then I noticed in 25 it was the same, and then the second one in 25 is when it jumped up to the 4,400, and then I got the first one in the first of 26, not knowing it was a 6 month, because their invoices are not very
Clear.
They're not very clear at all. No.
And that's an app or what is it?
Yeah, it's an app. It's a dispatch app. Basically, what it does, it records any dispatches for fire, EMS, rescue, everybody. It plays it back on your phone. It's a playback system. We do also carry the law alert, critical law alert is on that. Project Lifesaver, which I'm not really for sure who all's subscribed to that. I think that's mainly that can be taken in different ways, I believe. So I don't know if that's a necessity either, but I would like to look at it to see. And maybe either lessen that price or look at other options. Like I said, the Pulse Point app we have now in place that covers everything medical and fire, traffic related and all that. The only thing it does not do is the critical law. So that would be a thing. I don't know. Maybe a conversation with the sheriff and Derek to see how much the critical law is used. Basically, what it does is if they do have a law enforcement event where they would need everybody immediately, we would send out one tone and they would all get a message on the phone. It works off that same system. So, or maybe some of that cost could be shared across the board, with some of those others. So that was the only one that, like I said, hit me kind of after I started preparing budgets. Didn't know that was coming.
So you're saying that was only for 6 months?
Yeah.
And what did that cover? When did that end, that 6 months? What period is that? Is it?
Just the first 6 months of this year?
Or
Yeah, it's kind of split. I think it actually goes in October 1st is our next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it came due in February or March, and it was like from March to October or April,
Okay.
October. Like I said, I had enough to cover it out of statewide 911 on the mass notification.
But you think that increase doubled? Or is
It
it?
increased already. I hope it don't increase again. I'm hoping we can either lessen the amount of users in and bring that back down or something.
Is that what's causing it?
There's 350 recipients maximum in there, and I had 322, I think, when I started. Deleted some like repeats, like some people are in there. They might be in there for medical, law, fire. So I think we can take them into one. I've got it down to 290 something right now. So, and there may be some inactive. We're talking to everybody from dispatch gets it, full-time law enforcement, reserve law enforcement, all EMS employees are on it. Then all of our first responders, most of your fire departments. everybody's in that system, in that app system. Any questions on that budget? What would be the next one? Probably LEPC, 30-page, 31.
31, yeah.
Did not see really much in that except for office supplies went from 200 to 300 and equipment from 4 to 5. And that's just basically, we did get a new copier on a grant through LEPC through the state. So that toners and usage of some that may jump up a little bit in the office supplies. And that one is, you do get money back from the state also on that. LEPC committee did meet and approved that tentative budget and sent that to the state for state's approval. We did get a positive nod on that pending final from council.
Okay.
So that one would only change basically $200.
Any questions on that one for Greg?
Looks like he used his estimated revenue.
Yeah.
Took it 200.
Yeah. And it is, I think we'll probably have a little left in that one too, where it can actually roll back in there, so. Statewide 911, page 45. No major changes there either, except for the EMG mass notification system. That one was the code red weather warning, what they used to call the old reverse 911. That was one also that it jumped in price a lot. We renegotiated with them based on the fact that in November of last year, they had a cyber attack and it shut down their whole system. The system was revamped in November, December. There was some loss of service during that time, so they kind of revamped their pricing. And then also their new platform was considerably cheaper. It went from 21,000 to 9,000 something with our 2-month discount, but projected for next year would be around 13,000. So that's what I propose to put in there instead of the 21. And if possible, I'd like to take what I subtracted out of that and put back into radio equipment if need be. So just kind of swap some numbers around there on those two. Don't see anything otherwise that is a big red flag on that.
Do I have any questions for Greg on this one?
Nope.
I think the last one's a lit for dispatch.
Yep.
That's basically just a pass through to dispatch, I believe, on that one.
Page 46.
Yes. 363, 509, I believe.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Greg? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Warren, coroner.
How's everybody see? So, I got, some packets I'm gonna pass out. You don't have to look that out. It's just for your reading information later. So, thank you, sir.
How about your email?
And that's the other thing I was gonna bring up, if everybody got my email that I sent. A copy of it is in here, because I didn't know if everybody checks their email every day. If you're like me, you don't look at it every day, so sometimes I look at it once, twice a week, so it just varies.
You said your letter from your email is in here?
Yes,
Okay.
along with some other information. I'm gonna start out with the budget, being leave the salaries to last.
All right, let's find you here. Hold on. Yep.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay, page 7.
Okay, actually starting out, like I said, I'm gonna leave the salaries last. Office supplies, I'm in pretty good shape. I asked in for $200 for next year. The big thing that changed was I asked for additional gas money again. Last year, you cut my gas budget by 37%. I've got right now approximately $41 and a few cents left in my gas budget for the rest of this year, and we still got several months to go, so.
I think you have an additional for tomorrow's.
Yes,
right?
I'm going to see, but then I got looking, what I asked for tomorrow, probably still won't get me through the year. It just depends, because usually December's budgets are not paid until January. So if I can squeak it out till December, we should be in good shape. But I've still got one more training session for training in Indianapolis, and that takes by itself about $75 to $80 for gas to go to Indianapolis and back. And that's using we've always used a Tahoe. This year, the reason it put me short in the gas fund was we've had to make 3 trips to Indianapolis, to the State Police Lab and to Indianapolis University on the remains we found last year to finish up closing that case out. So that, I mean, when you take $80 a trip and 3 trips, takes a big chunk out of your budget. So I really didn't change anything on digital camera supplies. I usually will buy some batteries. Right now I got $5 left in it, but I use, a lot of times I have to move it to other categories to help cover costs for other items. And that's like office supplies. Up until last year, I wasn't connected to the cloud. Anja hooked me up, and that cost me an extra, it cost me $20 a year that I never figured in for office supplies, or that's the only thing I took it out of. But also like equipment and paper and stuff, we use bloodstain cards for DNA. A box of 100 is $307. So that's a lot of times where I use these funds that I don't use a lot of. I move them around and pay for it. Yeah, because right now I got enough bloodstain cards right now to probably get me through the first 3 or 4 months of next year. So all that also depends on how many deaths we have. So, but same way with sample collections. There, I'm good right now for needles and syringes, but about sometime later on next year, I'm gonna have to order them. And as you know, syringes and needles are not cheap. So again, I'll have to move some money around with it, but I don't have no problem with that. Now, cadaver bags, I've got $115 left in that account for this year. Last year at budgetary time, that was a question, well, $750, can we cut it? Well, I'm down to 115 right now, so.
You just don't know, I guess.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just shot in the dark on what you're going to need. Cadaver bags have went up like a lot of supplies because they're made out of petroleum. So the prices went up some. So I think right now they're $42 or $44 and something a piece. So $750 don't get you very many to start with. So And airborne pathogens, left that the same. Uniform allowance, I asked for that to be increased again because last year and also this year, we've had to replace deputies' clothing, getting towards scene or getting contaminated or getting covered with body fluids that cannot be, you can wash them all you want, but you can still smell it. And I don't blame my people. I don't want to wear it. I don't expect them to wear stuff that's contaminated like that. Even after washing them, it's not good. So that was one of the things about the uniforms. Cleaning and sanitation, I'm good with what we had last year. I'm still in pretty good shape with it. Going down to 3,000 accounts or the x-rays and lab work, I left that the same as last year. Right now, I've got 935 left in it. We got a contract with the hospital for x-rays when we have to have x-rays. And with x-rays, usually it's with, if we have anybody under the age of 3, we have to have x-rays on before we can close the case report out. And hospital, I've got a contract with them. 2 x-rays or 2, I guess, visions or views is $150 for 2. And a lot of times on babies, we have to have 4 to 6, depends on what part of we're looking at. So I left that the same because I never know again what's going to happen. Autopsy fees, I left that the same. So far this year, we've had 13. I got enough money right now for 2 more autopsies for the rest of the year. And I'm pretty sure that I'm standing here that we'll have more than, and I've already put in a request for next month for additional funding for it. So that's one of those, some years we've had 4 or 5, some years we've had 24 autopsies. There's no way to know. And in that packet, it explains when an autopsy needs to be done or leaves it up to discretion of the coroner's office on if we want one or not. But we look at medical history. And that's one thing too, that we go through. A lot of times maybe we should maybe be doing an autopsy, but this is just one medical records on one case. I've got several cases out there this year that's got 2 and 3 packets like this that we have to go through the medical records from the doctors, the clinics, the hospitals to try to determine what the cause of death was without going in and doing an autopsy. Because autopsies have went up a little bit. Dr. Jacoby, our pathologist, this year they're running anywhere between $1,950 and $2,050. So, but that's cheap because a pathologist came down this year from Louisville, from the state of Kentucky, and they done one, and I don't know what the bill is, but I don't have to pay it, but the pathologist told me that he charges between $4,500 and $5,000 an autopsy. So whenever Dr. Jacoby hangs it up, we're going to have issues because it's going to cost us a lot more somewhere down.
So yours are costing around 2,000?
Yes.
Okay, and so is this figure the 19.7 you've spent since that on autopsies? This has 19,700 expended in 26.
Oh, it's been more than that.
This is through June, probably.
Yeah, that was, because I've had.
Because you said you only had that for 2.
I've had 3 in the last, or 4 in the last 3
If
weeks.
he's had 13, he has 4.
So that's about 10,000 there then.
Yeah, so, but we're down to 4,000 and a few odd dollars right now left in that account for the rest of the year. So that basically covers 2 autopsies. So, and I mean, again, it just depends. We never know. Morgue fees, we don't need to worry about that anymore. We didn't have anything last year since we got the cooler, and that's been a savior for us. Postage, I'm asking for $100, the same as last year. Right now, I think I've got, about 50 left in that account. I'm not really sure what's in that account right now. Travel, I asked for that to be brought back to what it was in 2024 or 2025 at $600 for travel. And same way with training and travel education, because this year, right now in travel, I got $1.89 left. And in the training, I got $2.30, because most of our training is done every north, usually around Indianapolis or so, to keep for the deputies keep their certification hours. They gotta have the certification hours to keep their certification. So it kind of puts a burden on us trying to cover their expenses. And again, we've always kind of moved money around. That's the reason even the $1.89 and the $2.30, I've had to move money out other accounts just to cover the expenses so far this year. And we got one more training session in Annapolis in October. So we'll have to wait. I can move money around hopefully to cover that for this year, but next year it starts all over again for their hours. So vehicle maintenance, I left that, I think, the same. Our vehicles only got, I think right now, 6,000 and some miles on it. So we're in pretty good shape with tires and everything, because it's just used when we get a call and are dropping off paperwork. I won't take it to training sessions. We always, like I said, use the Tahoe, because if we take it, then we don't have no vehicle to respond to a scene. So cooler maintenance, I left that the same at 200, since the cooler is about 2 years old now. We did have one issue with it earlier, and I got a bill that was, I'm trying to think, it was almost $500, between $400 and $500, and I called the company to put it in, because they were the ones that repaired it. They're out of Louisville. They came down, fixed it, sent me a bill, and I said, no, I'm not paying it. We're under warranty. Well, come find out, we had 18 days left in the warranty, so they wrote it off. So it was getting close, but
So you're
now
saying
we
it
don't
was
have no
worth the
warranty
phone
on it.
It was worth the phone call you made.
Yes, because I didn't have, I was gonna have to start moving money around again. So, and the subscription and dues, I left that the same, because that takes right that full $1,000 to cover certifications for everybody. So, I mean, it's sometimes we never know what we're going to have to deal with. I've been dealing all day with the case from yesterday, trying to find family members. Sometimes you can't find anybody to identify the body or take possession of it. So, and that's what we're kind of working on right now. Now, as far as the payroll for salaries, my deputies, they're scheduled 120 hours a month, which is 1,440 hours per year. So, but that doesn't include when they come out to assist whoever's on the schedule, because we have a lot of times that we need extra help. Police department, sheriff's department always sticks around and help, but they've been times it's taken 6 and 8 people to load somebody in a vehicle or unload them. So, I mean, my deputies don't complain if I call them and say, hey, can you meet me at the office or meet me somewhere or meet one of the other deputies to help, because we need additional manpower. And then there's times, this year we've had it 3 times, I know for sure, that we've had 2 or more deaths basically within 5, 10, 15 minutes of each other. I don't want a family member laying in their home waiting for us to get there, and we've got 2 other calls before us before we can get there. That's not right. So deputies will come out, they'll go to the scene, and they'll work the case, and one of the 2 funeral homes is very good about, all we have to do is call them and they will come with their vehicle and pick the body up for us. So, but I don't feel that we should have to leave people lay for a long period of time. We need to get deputies there, get it investigated, remove the deceased. So
How often does that happen?
we've had it 3 times this year already. So,
3,
you know, and it varies.
how many
I mean,
total deaths have you had?
so far this year, we've had we've had 40 calls that we've investigated, and then we've had another 58 that we have not investigated just
So 98 deaths?
so far this year. But we've had 40 of them that's been investigated.
What does that mean?
Taken,
Like a criminal thing?
well, you don't know if it's criminal until you get there or not, but going in, you still have to determine the cause of death. I said right now we got 2 that I can't find family members to take possession of or I think there's family around, but nobody wants to pay the bill. There's a lot of it. So, but, you know, as far as the deputies, they put in a lot of hours. They have to do a lot of stuff at the scene, and in the packet, there's an area in there explains what they do. And a lot of people's got the mindset that, well, we walk in and look at somebody, says, yep, they're dead, and we walk out. That's not the case. We have to work with the law enforcement, do an investigation, whether it's criminal or if it's just natural causes. We still have to do the investigation, find out what the cause of death is. One last fall in October, we didn't clear it until April of this year, and that was thankful to the Indianapolis University and getting DNA done and tracking down who the DNA belonged to, which was in jail in Vanderbilt County, but was out of Louisville and was reported missing in Jefferson County. And it's just a long, drawn process of trying to find family members. And after all that time, we did. We found the grandfather up at Jeffersonville who lives in St. Louis, Missouri. He was up there looking for his grandson. He's been missing since 2022. He'd come over every few months and drive the homeless camps in Louisville and Jeffersonville trying to find his grandson. And it's just luck that he was down there when we found out who it was and made contact. Jeffersonville Police Department made contact with him, and we got the remains to a funeral home, and the young man got cremated. So, but as far as deputies' salaries go, and I'm not against the law enforcement. I've wore 6 uniforms in 57 years in the criminal justice system. They deserve everything they get. The only thing that upsets me with the salary, last year at budget hearings, we was told the county don't have no money. Don't have no money. Only one of you said, well, we can give them a little bit of raise. No, it got shot down. We didn't get, none of the county employees got a pay raise. But in April of this year, you gave the sheriff's department, a big pay raise. Now, I don't have a problem with that, them getting a pay raise. But at the same time, the other county employees, it's a slap in the face to the rest of the county employees. They deserve the pay raise, but my feeling, it should have been broke down a little bit each year, not, 2 of the deputies got over $13,000. Another one got over $9,000, one $6,000. And then you turn around 2 years ago, we was denied longevity. And in this April meeting, you gave them longevity and an incentive to go get extra training. That which amounted to another $14,373. I just think it's unfair to other county employees, and especially my deputies, because they get called out all hours of day and night to scenes that sometimes the police officers won't even go in. They'll go start in, they'll start gagging and leave. So I think it's kind of unfair to my deputies, but it's unfair to the rest of the county employees that was denied any type of pay raise last year, but then the sheriff's department got a big one this year.
We have to have public safety. I mean,
Well, yeah,
we,
but why are we trying to keep up with Tell City? They was getting paid, it could have been broke down over a period of couple of 3 years to get them up to what, Tell City's making, because basically that's what it was. Their salaries now basically same as Tell City. Break it down a little bit all the time. I know, because when I started at Tell City, and I think David did too, it was about $6,800 or $6,400 a year is all we was making. And every year, I was on the budget committee for the police department, trying to get money. Gradually, they kept working. You know, some years we get a 10% raise, some a little less, some a little more. But eventually, they got it up where it's a nice salary. And I just feel that would have been the way, instead of this big lump sum out of a budget that we don't have money for, supposedly. It goes all to one place.
it was so far behind.
It wasn't that far behind.
It was really far behind.
I worked with departments. I've seen other salaries. It wasn't that far. It was a little bit behind, but not at $13,000 for a couple of officers, you know.
But how many
It was that
officers
far
have we
behind.
lost?
How
We
many,
were
you've
bleeding.
you've only lost one police officer at Tell City Police Department in the last 10 years, and that came from Alamo and Derek Lyle. You know,
But
you're
that wasn't all
you're
there was.
losing them, but they're not staying in law enforcement, because there's a lot better jobs out there, and then the law enforcement, a lot safer. I mean, a lot safer than, never knowing what you're gonna walk into.
I take your point, but
Yeah,
we're still
so
losing
We're,
people,
but
and public safety in this
And-
county was suffering.
how many county employees have you lost at other departments? How many openings on the highway department right now? See, I mean, it's just, if they just had a consideration to getting a little bit of a pay raise, instead of giving us 3% or 5%, you took 5% away from us.
We would never catch up.
Well,
They were so far behind, they would never catch up because
so
some
are you
cities
gonna
could-
catch the other employees up this year in the budget time? No,
Catch-
because we don't have,
catch them up
the
to
county,
what? What are you
to
comparing
match
to?
on the reports I gave you is what Wagner, Shealy, Irwin, gave a list at 2022, what salaries were around the area. When are we gonna get, and they.
Can we do a comparison on what the revenues are in the area? Because like
Yeah.
Spencer County has more than double our assessed value.
Well,
So they're
how
running
about
a lot
Crawford,
more.
how about Crawford County, Orange County? No, they, you know,
I have a
I
list.
hear every year, well, we got Hoosier National Forest, we can't afford it. Crawford County's got Hoosier National Forest, Martin County's got Hoosier National Forest, Orange County's got Hoosier National Forest, but it's always, well, we got Hoosier National Forest, we don't get any revenue. I agree, we don't get that much, but they got Hoosier National
But
Forest.
not near
We
the
have
acreage that
64,
we
yeah, we
have.
have the most.
Well, it's still, the employees of this county needs money, you know, and.
Warren, we can only do with what we have. We have, just like
Okay.
everybody, every resident, we ask them to stay within their, I mean, they have to stay
We're
within
spending
their.
money on a part-time engineer now, the big pay raise.
Who is it?
I don't know who
What is
the
it?
Engineer, the part-time engineer for a highway department.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I
I
don't know where that
watch
came from.
commissioners meetings because they hard one.
Are you familiar with it, Chris? No. I'm not familiar with
Well,
that because
it
if
was in
they
the-
hire
it was in
somebody,
the-
they have to ask
It
us
was
to hire
at
someone.
a commissioners meeting out at the annex where they got part-time engineer on contract.
I don't know.
On an as-needed basis.
As needed basis, yes. Yeah, so
Okay,
there's been.
so it's not like a
money.
county employee. Okay.
Well,
I just wanna
if he's
make sure.
working for- But then there's other things that the money's being spent for.
Well, those are restricted funds. I mean,
Like,
highway funds are only for the highway. We
There's-
can't do anything about that.
there's unrestricted funds too. But I'm just saying that county employees need a pay raise. And it was a slap in the face the way we was treated last year at the budget here.
So you
I'm
would
not
rather
asking-
not had a stipend at all? You just would rather we didn't do anything?
Well, you should have left it the same, you know, left that stipend in for this year instead of taking that 5% away from
And
it.
where was it gonna come from?
Well, won't you come up with the $80-some thousand? You know, that's just it. I know.
Warren, we have to prioritize. I mean, I
Oh, you
understand what
want
you're
to come
saying.
help me
I
pick
do.
up a dead body that's decomposed or one of my deputies? Does anybody want, it's hard to find people who want to go out there and pick up.
I see that you're asking for an almost 50% raise.
Yes.
For yourself.
Right.
Did you know what this job paid whenever you took it?
Yes, I did, and I'm glad you brought that up, because before you got elected, some of you was running. Well, I think there's only one, David's the only one here. The other three has quit since then. I was told at several meetings that we was having at the old Republican headquarters. Coroner's office is way underfunded. We're gonna have to do something about, we're gonna get that up when we get in office.
That definitely
I
wasn't me.
haven't seen it.
I have not seen any budgets. I would not ever promise anybody anything, so.
You need to go back and remember, because
Oh, I can,
there's other
100%
former, there's other former council members remember that being said. So
If they said it-
I know you don't want to remember it now, but that's all right.
One, I never said that. I would never promise
Was you at
anybody
those- Was you
anything.
at those meetings? Yes.
I never heard
Okay,
anybody
no.
say that they would promise
I just
somebody a
think the
raise.
people in the county should understand that all the county employees are being slighted, and that's all, you know. So, anybody else got any questions, but I'm done.
I don't disagree, one, that we need
I
to
just
give them a
want-
raise if we can.
I just
don't
want to see them
disagree
get
with that.
something, you know, no matter what,
Sure.
just some, because
I think we're all gonna try to do that, but we just need to see, we're still waiting on our revenues to see, I think Chris is working on those to see where we're at with
Well,
everything, and what the ask is versus what we're
They-
bringing in.
there's a little money available last year, because one of the council members, he made a comment, well, let's give them a little bit, there's enough there to give them a little bit. It got voted down.
I don't know where it is, because we had to take from cash to make it work.
All I'm saying is, I just think the county employees are being slighted, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank
I hate that you feel that way, but
Well. I
Thank
do.
you. Does anybody have any questions for Warren? All right. Next is Samantha Hurst, Prosecutor's Office.
I did find out today that we made an error in what we sent you, so I brought a new copy for everybody.
I emailed it out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay, but I didn't get it in
Yeah.
time. I'm sorry. I saw it on my phone whenever I was in the parking lot.
It also has just a little bit more information for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so previously, the, amount that Caitlin was getting, she was getting paid out of a couple of different funds. She also has a grant. But she was getting paid by the commissioners to clean our office. We're taking that out, and we meant to move it into paying her out of either our general fund, just having it as a salary instead of having her cleaning the office as a completely separate thing out of the commissioner's budget. So you'll see that is in here now. So the other thing is, in 2026, you guys moved a lot of stuff that was in the general fund to the pretrial diversion fund. I have requested some of that to go back to the general fund, like Caitlin's grant match. If you can't make it work this year, I can cover again out of pretrial diversion, try to work together to make it so that, people can get what they need as far as pay and money. And I understand we only have a certain amount of money. So if we do have to continue to pay out of pretrial diversion, we can make it work for this coming year. Pretrial diversion is one of those things we just never know how much is going to be in it. We can estimate based on what we have in prior years, but it's based on how many people get charged with things that they can go on pretrial diversion or infraction deferral for. So it varies. We never know. I have another request that's not an across the board raise. Obviously, if you can do that for everybody, everybody's going to be extremely thankful and grateful for that. We don't have anybody in our office who's completely county paid that is paid at what a first deputy is paid. What is titled on our accounts as an operations manager is she does what would be considered first deputy work in our office. So my request is to pay her what first deputies get paid. Whatever you decide to pay first deputies. Currently she makes $35,108. She's the lowest paid county employee in the courthouse. I don't really know how that all happened or what happened, but she does first deputy work. Whatever that additional cost is, if you can't fund it out of county general, if there's not enough, I would request for us to be able to pay it out of pretrial diversion. We would have enough to pay that. It's about $3,000, just give or take, whatever you're gonna pay first deputies, but that's my request on that. It is currently listed on the budget as $35,000 because I don't know what you're gonna pay first deputies. If you could give them a raise, that's great. And like I said, we'd be extremely grateful, but just bringing her up to be even would be fair for what she does. And then the other information that you have, that came from IPAC does this kind of the, I guess, the Wagner Chili type stuff. They do one of those and then they send it to the prosecutors. Our support, it says that we need 4.55 attorneys. I am not going to ask you for half an attorney. I'm not going to ask you for a part-time attorney. That is specifically to show you that our support staff is picking up a lot of slack because under all the case studies and the numbers, we should have 1.1 support staff per attorney, which would mean we would need 5. We have 2, and I'm not asking you for more. I'm just showing this to you so you understand that our support staff are really working hard. And when I came in, I did remove one of those positions, and we took on a lot more work and burden. And I'm just letting you know, as you look through this, that that person who I'm asking you to pay as a first deputy is doing a lot of work. She earns first deputy pay and she doesn't get it. The budget, as you can see, for the general in 2025 was $83,000. It went down to $62,000, and that's not even the year that we jumped down $20,000 from when we no longer had to pay rent. So we've been constantly getting cut, and I understand that there's only a certain amount of money, but we're just asking to be able to make up some of what would be important in our office as far as fairness for paying, it's Lacey's position, but paying her position, what first deputies are gonna make. And it is great that we no longer have to pay that $20,000 out of the general fund because we now have an office here that was used restricted funds to be able to do that. We're very grateful for that.
Probably brings you other efficiencies being here, right? So you
Oh,
don't have to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's-
All 4 of you all day.
Yes, and just whenever office staff need to just run over and do something real quick, it's all here and in one place. So, but the money saved out of the general account is nice that we're able to use that for other things, and we use that restricted fund to be able to build the building that could only be used for capital projects anyway. Anybody have any questions?
Is that pre-trial, is that discretionary?
It is. Yep, it is discretionary. You guys have to approve. It was okay. We made it work. And like I said, we do everything we can to alleviate from the general fund. We have the incentive, the child support incentive fund. We try to use that to help alleviate some of the costs that we incur. We use the pretrial diversion fund as much as we can. But, and like I said, I understand if this year the Caitlin's match can't come out of general fund, I would like it to. If you have the money for it, if not, we'll pay it out of pretrial diversion again. Based on the numbers we ran, we will be able to support it again next year.
But you're limited on what you can use that for, aren't you? Person fund? Is there some sort of,
Pretty much other than paying myself, no.
You can?
There are some, but it's very broad. So I can help pay salaries out of it. I can pay equipment costs. I can pay supplies. I can pay a lot of that stuff. And I'm sorry, the other thing on here that is additional from last year that's not really additional, we did put in the registration fees for all 4 of us to go to our state called conferences. Originally, we've just been asking for those to be paid. So instead of us incurring the cost and then asking the general fund to pay for it, we're just putting it in our budget so you know that it's there and you're not surprised by it.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily new, it's just we wanted you to know what was coming as opposed to asking not to pay for it out of the general fund because it's a state called conference. And all 4 of us have to go to at least one of them.
What are the law enforcement donations? Is that for the?
Body cams mostly. We don't do leads anymore. Leads online used to be the other one, but body cams mostly. Which is that,
I think there was a drone once or something.
yeah,
Drone piece or something.
yep. Sometimes when they need something that we can help them and they can't buy, we'll help them with that, but.
Which also helps offset the general,
Yeah, because it's coming out of pretrial diversion, it's not coming out of the general.
Yeah.
So, when we can, we help.
Any questions?
How crazy is the General Assembly in Indianapolis? That's my question.
All right. Thank you. Okay, next. Sheriff. And Eric. I mean, okay, not Eric. Only if needed, I guess.
Yeah.
He waved me on, so you can call him up if you need him.
I was gonna say, let me start out that, the city budget compared to we're on the county budget was different. And also, I started getting a little nervous over there because I came and started watching everybody else, and they all started talking about the page numbers.
It's okay, we'll help you.
I don't have any.
We'll help you. You tell us what it is. and we'll
Oops,
help
wait a second. So bear with me a little bit as we go through some of these things. I'm trying to stay up on it. Plus, they're printed out pretty small, so I definitely need my glasses.
You need those legal papers.
Yeah, I need this.
Just trying to save money.
So if I'm right about what you guys are all looking at, thank you, son. You tell me, I got the page that's got fuel and oil on it.
So Sheriff, page 5, is that it?
And down where it's
Oh,
got
20.
police program for,
20 and 35, I think.
Oh, okay. We'll go
or
to,
do you need the number of?
that's okay, is it the,
23-101?
It's general fund, so you just.
That's all general.
Yeah, general fund, page 5.
page 5?
Here's, you give these,
Okay,
these are the fund names. and
Oh,
then
okay.
identify what.
Okay,
that's okay. Okay, page
So-
5, guys.
so we're in general fund
Okay.
and looking at the fuel and oil. And so that was bumped up a little bit. And again, that's because, and I think we're all well aware of that, is the issues with the flow and ebb of oil and petroleum products and gas costs and everything else. So that's really kind of a shot in the dark about what may happen. And we can watch the national news and you know, the pumps change every hour and every day. So, but tried to shoot for a little more for that. And that's because of that reason. And I have not tried to compile, and I didn't ask Gary to go that deep either, like the difference in mileages or what we have done before the transports, but just as of, well, I'll just go in the last 48 hours to, this is Wednesday. So a little more than 48 hours, 72 hours. And from the jail, there was transports up to RDC, which is in Plainfield, Indiana, to transport convicted persons to the prison. Got back, and then there was transports the very next day to pick up persons in Louisville Metro. And then there was phone calls being fielded yesterday evening and up to this morning about getting back out and going to Washington, Indiana to pick up a person who we had warrants for, we had court this morning, and looping back through into Van Wert County, pick up there. And I myself has jumped in a vehicle and made several runs on spur of the moment, such as quick ones where there was nobody else out here to work, so I was out and made a run up to Madison, Indiana, for a juvenile female who's been picked up. So yeah, there's a lot of running back and forth, and it is things that cannot be put off and has to be done. So there is a lot of traveling, and we bear the responsibility if there are warrants in our paperwork that if we get called, there is a time limit about our response to that. But we try and be timely because I like to use that excuse when I call them up when we got one of their prisoners and say, hey, you need to go over and pick them up. And they tell me, well, it might be a few days. And I say, hey, we've been pretty good about getting them out of your place and getting them when we need them. So would you come over and get them there or meet us? So, but there's a lot of mileage, more than what I think a lot of people think about. That's just not the patrol work and response that comes here. Plus, if anything happens on the interstate and our guys are down here doing some paperwork or something else, it's a mile run up to I-64 and 20 some miles to get back. So it does add up.
It's a big county.
And then down below that was 4402. It's about the police and police vehicles and then body armor. So we can come back to the police vehicles, but on the body armor, it went from a very low number at the start. And the reason why that 10,000 was set there is that the state legislators and the companies involved put expiration dates on their body armor. And so the idea of keeping the body armor past the expiration date results in a liability issue. And it's just the nature of the beast, and that anything else, that if we've gotten some and put some people in that armor and pay for that, 5 years from now, all right, it's time to get that redone and get that. And there really is nothing that we can utilize the old, out-of-date stuff for, as far as its value or anything. There is none. And we started looking on the books, and we're guesstimating that looking at, we'll probably have to do 5 replacements.
What is the rationale behind putting an expiration date other than the manufacturer being able to force us to replace it every 5 years?
Back in the day when I first got started, that was the birth of a lot of body armor. When I first got started back in those old days, the manufacturers was few and far between on some that they were working on, and what they actually started doing. And some of the people who said, hey, that's an idea, let's see if we can incorporate that into ballistic body armor. And that had to do with building the tires and the belts on tires and using polymers or different nylon or other materials. What they do is it's like thread. So they cross one direction thinly, cross the next way, and they're going at different angles. And it builds up into a layer. Well, when they first came out with those, and we were all like, wow, this is great. Well, they're hot and they're sweaty. And so what started to come from that was, as time progressed, it was new technology. So as the years went by, they began to realize, well, wait a minute. If something happens and you have somebody who's gotten drenched and totally soaked through, it degrades it possibly. Body sweat, body odor, body bacteria and everything. So the testing that's been done, so we fast forward almost 50 years. And so that's how they started getting the expiration date. It's just like any clothing. You can have a pristine shirt or something else. You wash it, you laundry it, it degrades. Ultraviolet degrades it, and on and on. So actually now, and Eric, jump in if I'm wrong, actually now the idea of the external body carriers, because in my day, we tried to kind of hide it and got the materials that were flexible and laminated against her chest, or you wore a t-shirt, and I think, Gail started to grin a little bit. You remember those hot, sweaty days. And so when the came into vogue more about getting away from a Class A uniform and looking at what we call the Class B or C, which is more working, that, okay, if we're doing that, and everybody knows, because we see it on TV all the time, it's one of the things that got out there was that, okay, officers are wearing body armor. And I don't want to use it, it's a bulletproof vest, because they're not. They're resistant, but something will punch through just about any of it eventually. So the external carriers help a lot. They help supplement the weight, and they supplement and give another barrier out to allow air to circulate. And so the new breathable materials and everything are so much better. I'm trying to look to see who's got here some. The cottons will kind of breathe a little bit, but they'll absorb sweat. And the new technology is for all. I like his shirt down there probably. It's a loose web, and it actually allows moisture to escape. And it is just the technology of it. So actually, the new body armor systems, especially the externals, are lasting longer and probably have their integrity better. But it is a thing from science, and once they started doing it, and there's been some in years past real life examples like, okay, why did this fail, or what happened?
And what happens, I just have a random question, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what happens with that whenever, if you have someone who drastically gains weight or loses weight, because aren't they fitted for them? When
They are fitted,
so-
and I'm really not sure about the current policy about that, but that was discussed in the old department, and we were like, okay, wait a minute, we're doing this, but if you have these drastic changes, that's why you were getting an allowance for other things, and that, wait a minute, we might say you're kind of responsible for it. Now, you didn't bring it up, and right now, and I'm not saying I don't want them, I would like to have some female officers, but working in my old job, yes, when we started hiring some females, and then when a female said, guess what, I'm expecting, and my body is changing. Okay, couldn't really penalize that person. But yes, we had to start making allowances, start thinking about that, and that becomes another issue out there.
It's always an indicator that I need to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
less power range.
So no, you're right, body changes. And I can see that, and I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade in the future or whatever, but we've been talking about this for years, and that was setting up certain standards that say, as an officer and what you're doing, you need to maintain a certain level, and that you should not let yourself change and become grossly overweight or have problems. But that's a whole other thing for thinking about for policies in the future and some things about that. So no, good question.
So that's what that equipment is for the 10,000.
Yeah, that's the
Under the
10,000
lease
there,
cover, okay.
is the jump due to expiration of the body armor. And then by kind of spacing it out, it's like anything else. It's just that prepare yourselves, if you're all still here in another 5 years, would be the new people we hired late last year and into this. So there's like 4 that are coming in the same kind of time period that we jump into another hub again instead of being spaced out over a long period. Okay. And if you want to go back to the police vehicle, it's got the 100,000. That was what Erica was telling me about, the part about that. That is part of the general that was there. And then we'll find on another page here a little bit, it's the lit funds, I think about like 40 in it, that we maintain that for the purchase. And I want to say again, thank you all very much for the purchase last year of the vehicles that we got, because that's necessary. And again, it's wear and tear on the vehicles and some other things that come up, and we're trying to move those along.
Well, I appreciate you working with us on a rotation, because that's a lot easier than 10 at once.
10 at once, yeah.
So just like
And you guys are really
explained.
great, and just want to throw it out there, it's not what we're here for, but we're thinking about budgets. And that is, as we work with some of the vehicle issues, was the idea that to recoup some money back into your general fund would be to, I think it's the way to go. It's going to be a new person coming November 4th, whatever. And that is to look at having a auction of some of the vehicles through a broad auction spell, because Eric and I come across several things on the internet now, which, they start looking at some things where they pop through. And it's used vehicles for the general public that want it. And you have to do some things like take the striking off and do some other stuff. But I really do. I believe that in this day and age, an auction out there that's put out could recoup more money into you for your general fund usage by selling them that away than to try and do a trade-in with some of the vendors, because if any of us has tried to buy a brand new car from any dealerships right now, we really understand when we bring our car in there. yeah, we're not maybe gonna get the kind of dollar amount they're gonna try and sell that for later, and we just basically want to get rid of that one, so that's what we trade them in. But in this line of business, I think that, yes, you will make more money, I do believe, over a big internet auction sale possibly than we do taking and saying to a vendor from us, like the Durangos that we went to, that they go, okay, you have anything to trade in? Well, yeah, I've got this Durango that's 14 years old, it's got 187,000 miles on it. Yeah, sure, we'll take that from you. But,
To the scrapyard. No.
and some people say, well, I don't want to get too far off topic, is, well, why do you think somebody else would give you more? And there is a certain group of people out there that they want to tinker and mess with it, and they're willing to invest a little bit more money than what that dealership is, because they're sitting there eyeballing it. Hey, we can strip that puppy down for all kinds of parts. Or guess what? That might work very well in a 4-H deal for crashing cars out there. It's something. I mean, what they're going to do with them, or I just want the engine. I'll tear everything else out. You'll be surprised. So I think that's just a thought.
I would like to see when those are sold, because I agree that probably needs, if you guys can get that information to the commissioners, because that's where they would surplus them. Whatever you have that's going to come off the roll because of the new ones. It also will help us eliminate expense, because we won't have as many on the insurance, even if it's just sitting. We need to move it along, and I would like to see that money go back into some type of restricted fund. Maybe we can make one of those where it goes back into using it for this purpose to purchase additional.
Move it right back into the major equipment, or
I would like
for a
to do
future
that.
vehicle, or for maintenance. Okay, thank you. So, okay, now my next one that I've got on my sheet, it's under general again, and it's looking like it's 11805.
Yeah.
Matron, and right above it was the part-time officer.
Let's look. Is it 20?
No, I think he's still on page 5, and
Oh.
it's just split into 2 pages.
Oh, okay.
Split printed on there.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's the way the printer did it, I guess. So what was moved there, and then that changeover?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Was a movement of around $2,000. And it actually didn't change the overall numbers. What it did was it moved it away from, if I'm reading my figures right, where before in 26 probably, where it says at 2027 starting point of 11,200. So what happened was pulled from that and then dropped that down to 9 to then just drop that 2,000 into the other one. So it didn't overall change any numbers, we just moved it. And our thinking about this was that to hire somebody as a part-time matron, and we were looking at an hourly rate of around $18 an hour. We thought about a 24-hour work week, and when you correct the area, he was crunching all these numbers while we're talking. And giving that person some vacation time, or it's a part-time job, they don't have to be here. And different things they can help and work with. Might be a future look at that, to have this other person who helps do some of those jobs. And actually, we were just talking, I asked Eric earlier, I said, how many people are on the sexual offender registry list? And it was 46.
It was 46.
Well, we just went up to 47 because we just sent the guys out to arrest somebody before I got over here. So the number went up. So working on that registry, I know we put that into as the officers. So I wanted to make that distinction, that the officers and getting that incentive for them too is to help work on that. But what the officers need to do is just what we sent them out tonight to do. And that was just 2 of our regular guys that we were able to free up. And that is check on that registry once the registry itself is up to date, and we're keeping up on the forms and through the computer system. And that is, if we find that somebody's not in compliance or we want to check, that's what the officers do. Drive out there, find this person, hunt them down. And then it's one of these things like, wait a minute, you just showed up here the other night and you're from, let's just make it up, Du Bois County. I've called and checked with Du Bois County because I've had somebody at the office during the office hours that said, hey, we're hearing rumors there's a guy who just moved in out here in Leopold. And person called up and said they think there's something shifty or some problems about that. So we check on that, find out, guess what? He's a registered sex offender who was registered and supposed to be in Du Bois County, living somewhere out there. And he hasn't. He has taken off and moved over here and neglected to tell them. So this is what the registry does. It's trying to keep up. But how that's done is you've got two things happening here. It's the computer and all the info in and out that tells in the officers where we tell them, go out there and knock on this person's door, take a look at them. Do they match this? Because that's a arrestable offense. And in fact, just in circuit court, I'm thinking that was late last week. There was a person who has finally broke down and decided to enter a plea agreement, but he's a sex offender and was not registered and not kept up on his stuff. He had violations, 2 of them in our county, and actually there's other counties waiting in line to get him. And so this is how you knew that. So what we thought